Pretty cool stuff. Khasino's joining us for this video today, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we talked about at Foxnet last week. There's going to be a second video on your channel, which is going to be probably twice as long or maybe 3 times as long. So this is going to be a little bit more condensed version, but I promise you there's more details on your channel. So say welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this is going to be the bullet point version for people who are like, tell me what happened.
Right.
And let's move on.
We're going to talk about some stuff that is very exciting and very relevant. First one is they're going to talk about the raids and the raid problems. What are they going to do in the raids? As
you know, a lot of people are complaining about the fact that you have to have flawless attendance and coordination. 200% of raid right now. So if one person gets like food sickness, you know, everyone gets shafted on the rewards. So they are actually retooling raids to go from 8 lanes to like 6 or 7. And now you will no longer need flawless coordination, which is wonderful.
Oof. I think that's going to be a great addition. I know it's frustrating if you have one person. Boy, it can mess everything up for everybody. So they are 100% working on that. And they also mentioned the Blitz and what count you're on, like 1, 2, 3, or 4. What do they say about that?
I've been calling that the Blitz match indicator feature, and they said it's definitely on their radar. We were talking to, I believe, the creative director, and his response was more or less, yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, that's annoying. We've got to fix that soon. And then they also talked about the Rocket event. A lot of people are asking, when am I going to get Rocket? And I actually wasn't quite there for that part of the conversation. What did you hear?
So, of course, yeah, we brought up Rocket, and they said that it will happen sooner rather than later because they don't have a date pinned down, and they typically anything more than 3 days out is subject to change. So make sure, you know, soon TM. But yeah, they mentioned basically that would be happening sooner rather than later, ideally inside of 3 months, but there's no set date.
Right. And they said that the people that got Rocket was a mistake, you know, after the global launch. That was not supposed to happen. So that was something that they acknowledged. Now, they said they're going to modify the chat. They also mentioned this on the in-game notification. Now, this is something that doesn't concern me because I blocked all the chat, but you've told me that it's pretty terrible, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the day. I like engaging people in global, but yeah, there's definitely plenty of spam about free power core websites, which are, of course, nonsense. There's, you know, plenty of political debates and plenty of people who are just writing profanity, you know, just because they snuck away from their parents or whatever it is. So, yeah, the ability to block people.
A lot of scams.
This is not a scam.
A lot of scams in there. Okay, and then they also talked about characters that are currently in the game file. So we're talking about like Loki, Groot, Red Skull, Ultron, and so on and so on. And there were some that they said were more likely to come sooner than later. Which are the ones that you saw that they said they were looking at the most?
From the ones that I had brought up, Loki, Groot, and Star-Lord fall into the camp of characters more likely to see a sooner release, as opposed to characters like Ultron and Red Skull, who they mentioned were a bit farther back. But of course, there's no set dates for any of those things. And I did want to mention there was a recent data mine that did show Groot orbs added to the game, which could mean that Groot may be the first one of that bunch that we're going to get, but also take that with a grain of salt because Groot has had a blitz in the data mine for like 2 months. So has Venom, and of course we haven't had a Groot or a Venom blitz, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it lines up.
Yeah, Venom would be awesome, I'll tell you. We got a really cool picture of us together with Venom. I like that picture quite a bit. And then let's talk about some of the stuff that were a little bit more about inventory management, roster filters, kind of like quality of life stuff. The one that was the most interesting to me that we talked about was having roster filters for your Blitz so that you can have squad selections.
Well, so that falls into a couple different things, actually. The roster filters where people were like, what about, can we do it by alphabetic or can we do it by star level? So that was a pretty straightforward. They talked about it. It's very low priority. They said you can refer to it as on the wish list, but don't hold your breath for that. The Blitz presets, like the team presets, is on the radar, and I believe they said that they had discussed that the day of. So while there's no set date for that, they are looking at that. They're in talks about it. So that is more likely to happen. Wish we had more confirmation on that, but they know we want it, and I think they agree that we should have it.
Right. And then there was a question that was asked, and I think the question itself was kind of interesting. He asked us if they were going to change the slow mechanic or the speed up mechanic to be a lower number, like let's say go from 50% down to 30%, how would we notify the community? And I just want to put my personal opinion on it. I think those mechanics are ridiculously overpowered and actually would welcome such a change. But what are your thoughts about all that?
No, I agree completely. and I'm glad that I get the opportunity to clarify, because a couple people heard me mention this beforehand offhandedly, and they were like, tell everyone speed up and slow are getting nerfed to this percentage, and that's not what was said at all. No. But they're looking at it, they feel that those statuses are too strong, which me and MobileGamer are both like, you're absolutely right, they are too strong. Right. They should be tuned down. The example they threw out, which may or may not be their current line of thinking, is if they took them from like 50% down to like 30%. But ultimately what they were asking was, if we were going to do something like that, how long would be enough notice to the community? Do we think that 1 week would be enough time? I, myself anyway, I'd said like as much notice as you can give would be great. Even a week would be better than most notice that we're getting on most things.
You know, I don't think that it'll be unwelcomed. I mean, I think there's a large majority of people that do not have Black Widow that find the people that do have Black Widow somewhat annoying, and I get that. And it also makes for design problems for the developers, where if a new character comes out and does not have some sort of speed manipulation like slow or speed up, then it's not going to be as effective as characters like Quake and Black Widow, and that kind of just limits the possibilities of creating new good characters. So I think it's something that definitely needs to be changed.
Yep. If you're one of the people who's complaining that other people have Black Widow but you don't, you should get yourself Merc Lieutenant, because he is a perfectly suitable replacement for Black Widow in almost all instances. So get a Merc Lieutenant, stop complaining about Black Widow.
But the way the game is right now, I think those characters would be still amazing if they did give, you know, a lower amount. They're still very good characters. It's just right now they're just so overpowered that speed up and slow is ridiculously good. And then there was another question about mods, and in the other game I play there are mods, and I just thought it was interesting that he asked me about mods, but I don't think he was suggesting that was coming anytime soon, but he was just more curious about what I liked about them, what I did not like about them. But I just wanted to bring that up in this conversation because it was discussed. I mean, that's pretty much what you got out of that conversation as well, right?
Yes. And so what I'm about to say is purely my own speculation, so please do not treat what I'm about to say as what we heard. But the fact that they were asking questions about mods leads me to believe that, and this is a very natural leap, that they're at least floating ideas for what could be done for additional customization of the characters. They didn't say anything about like leadership abilities or anything like that, but I would imagine that they're just kind of kicking around ideas for like what would be an extra level of something we could add to give these characters some depth and some uniqueness. But yeah, no plans.
And then lastly, I just wanted to talk about Ant-Man and Wasp. It was confirmed that they're coming to the game. I mean, everybody kind of knew that because there's going to be a movie. I mean, that makes sense, right? But what I found is interesting is that it's not going to be released in Blitz, and it's not going to be released in a legendary raid event like Deadpool or Thanos. And we did get to see that for a little bit, and we also got to see the kits for Ant-Man and Wasp. And what are your thoughts on those two things?
I'm very excited. So the first thing is, and I'm not saying this because I got an advanced look at these characters, I absolutely wholeheartedly believe what I'm about to say, which is that the visuals look amazing. They have tons of custom animations. They're probably the best two characters visually that we've had thus far. And then they perform great. And again, this is my preliminary guess, but I'm thinking the worst that either of them will place on my tier list is Low Demigod, which is saying a lot. And again, subject to change, but they both look really, really good. I think they're going to have a heavy impact on the arena meta, and I think you agreed with me there.
Yeah, from the kits look like they're more important for arena than raid or even blitz, but probably more of an arena type characters is what of course we don't know, we have to see when they come out, right?
Well, I'll need some hands-on testing, but I feel fairly confident in my assessment. I was pretty spot on with Mordo. We predicted Mordo being usable like over a month ago, so pretty confident, but we'll see.
Right. Okay, there was a ton of more information, and there's a longer version of this conversation over on Khasino's channel, and there is a link in the description. But before you head there, you have to like the video. And you know why you have to like the video? Because for every single person that likes this video, you will be getting in your account for free, not a 7-star, but an 8-star Noodle Ronin. Wait, that's what we already have in the game.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? I would love an 8-star version of Pool Noodle Ronin. I'm in. I'm going to like it.
Well, there you go. All right, guys, be sure to head over to Khasino's channel and check out, like I said, there's a longer version, probably over 30 minutes version of this video where we talk about it in more detail. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.
Peace.
Bye.